How can you be friends with people who hate your Catholic faith? Most of my friends are not Catholic, and that's because I'm a convert. Most of my life, I was outside the church because I was raised a Protestant. So when I became Catholic, some of my friends distanced themselves from me, but others remained friends with me, for which I am thankful. Now, some of those friends don't really care that I'm Catholic because they're not even Christians at all. To them, Catholicism is just another version of something they don't believe in anyway. So what's the difference? Now, other friends of mine are Christians, but certainly not Catholic, and have different levels of acceptance of me and what I now believe. But what about those who want to be friends with me, or I want to be friends with them, but they hate my faith? How do we deal with that? So how can you be friends with people who hate your faith, but they love you? Well, I want to share with you 5 principles for this. The first one is never walk away from people. Romans 12:18 says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. If people want to stay friends with you, even though they hate your faith, I'm going to say stay friends with them. Now, you might find that some of your friends can't tolerate your Catholic faith and won't want to be with you. Make that be their decision. Okay, number 2 is this: have appropriate boundaries. Don't let people bash you or your faith. Just because you're choosing to remain friends with them doesn't mean that you have to allow them to disrespect you or your faith. Years ago, we had a friend of ours that we worked with on a church staff, and for whatever reason, this man hated the Catholic Church, and he always was making disrespectful Catholic jokes. Now, I wasn't even a Catholic at the time, but they were offensive to me. And one day after a meeting, I remember my wife grabbed him, pulled him aside, and she said, look, you need to stop talking about people that way. We know that you don't like Catholics, but you're being disrespectful, rude, and arrogant. You really need to knock it off. I mean, already back then, she was defending the faith. It was so cool. And he was like, what are you talking about? Of course we can bash the Catholics. Unfortunately, that seems to be some people's mindset. But just because you're friends with someone like that doesn't mean that you have to put up with disrespect or someone who's going to bash your faith. If they are really your friend, they should respect you. Remember, you train people how to treat you. So set appropriate boundaries. If someone wants to be your friend, but they're going to constantly bash the faith, you can pull them aside and say, look, I get that you're not Catholic, but please don't disrespect my faith. Please don't say negative things to me about the church. I'm not going to tolerate that. That's important. Appropriate boundaries are the key to any good relationship like this. Number 3, don't get offended or take it personally that your friends aren't Catholic. Just as you want them to respect you, you must respect them. Sometimes we're so passionate about our faith that when other people don't share it, we're just like so upset by that. How can you not think of this? Or how can you not understand this? We can't hold our non-Catholic friends to the same standard that we hold to other Catholics. It just doesn't work that way. So don't get all bent out of shape at the fact that your friends don't share your religious views. Just as you want them to respect you, you must respect them. Number 4, live out your faith, but don't push it on people. Don't make every conversation about Catholicism. They're going to get tired of that, and eventually they're going to say, all right, I've had enough of this. Instead, lead by example. Live out your faith joyfully. Show them the opposite of what they believe about the Catholic faith. Lots of your friends that don't share your faith have so many misconceptions about the faith, and you have the unique opportunity, because you're in their life, to not just argue with them and say, well, Catholics don't really do that, or the Catholics are this, or the Catholics are that, or we don't do this, or we don't do. Just show them. Show them that you can have a devoted, joyful relationship with Jesus as a Catholic, and they're going to begin to question some of those misconceptions that they have. But it's not going to come because you argue with them or you push it on them. It's going to come because in the context of a friendship, people see what is meaningful to each other's lives. We see how people respond to things and how people interact with their faith. And if your non-Catholic friends see you as a Catholic interacting with your faith in a way that is joyful and devoted and powerful, that's going to not only blow up those myths they have, but it's going to inspire them. So live out your faith, but don't push it on them all the time with your conversations and your books and your videos and all that stuff. My videos, it's okay. Just kidding. I think you understand what I'm saying. And then lastly is this: have thoughtful, open, and genuine conversations. You want to be the person that your friends can talk to about the faith. And they shouldn't be afraid to share their thoughts with you. And they should know that you welcome those conversations and you need to share as well. Be real. Be a friend. Despite what you may have heard, you can have deep, meaningful friendships with those who don't share your faith. It's kind of the idea when it comes to evangelizing people. You just have to know how to do it. And you just may be surprised how your friendship can help others understand the beauty of Catholicism. And you never know what can happen from there. This is part of God's mission for us to share the gospel with the world. It's not just about going to far off places. The people that God has often called us to reach are the people in our everyday lives. Now, I got to say something about this because some of you are saying, well, I don't have any friends that don't share my Catholic faith. I try to surround myself only with people who are just like me in my faith. And I understand that from a standpoint of not wanting to be around the world and sinful things of the world. But let me just say this. I think that you need to have some friends that aren't Catholic. I think that you need to broaden your horizons a little bit. I'm not saying that you can be with people that are going to cause you to sin. But what I am talking about is this mindset of a missionary lifestyle that goes out into the world that's open of other people. Because here's the thing. How are you going to set your life up in such a way that you avoid any type of friendship with someone who's not a Catholic? You meet someone at school, you meet someone at work, you start to talk to them and hang out. Are you going to grill them about Catholicism before you decide whether you're going to become their friend? I mean, that's ridiculous. Jesus was a friend to sinners. He was a friend to tax collectors. We are called through who we are to share the faith with those around us. So if you've isolated yourself to the point where you don't even have any friends in your life that aren't Catholic, I think maybe the Lord wants to push you out of your comfort zone a little bit. But understand this. It doesn't mean that you have to put up with disrespect, that you have to put up with people bashing your faith. You can draw those boundaries. And my friends, if you do, I think that you'll discover that you can be friends with people even though they hate your faith. And who knows, just maybe through your friendship, they won't hate it for long. Thanks for watching this video, my friends. Take care and God bless.